What's going on, everyone? My name is Paradise, and welcome back to our top 100 greatest Pokemon of all time. We're looking through 60 through 51 today, and like I say usually, if you see your favorite Pokemon on today's 10, then let me know in the comments section below. And if somehow you're taking on this huge feat with me and listing off your top 100 greatest Pokemon, you can post that in the comment section below as well. I don't expect many people to do that, but if anyone is, that would be incredible. If you're enjoying this list, then be sure to destroy that like button right below this video, and without further ado, let's get into it. So kicking off today's list, at number 60, very respectable place, we have Starmie. Now Starmie has a very strange design. It kind of looks man-made, but it's not really. The main reason I like Starmie is because of how it acts in the anime. It kind of acts a little bit like a robot, and the way Misty uses it way back in the day in season 1, it kind of drew me to it a little bit. That and Staryu, but I prefer Starmie just a little bit more. The way that it evolves, you just stick another Staryu onto the back of one and then paint it purple, and you're like, yeah, look at it. It's evolved, I guess. So, yeah, look at it. It's great. But Starmie is also very good in competitive. Surprisingly, even though it's not that bulky, you can run it as a kind of bulky set. You can also run it very fast with all these different kind of moves. It has a very diverse move pool, very good water type to pick up in first gen. A little bit hard to get, but if you do, it is very reliable and you won't regret your choice. Next up, we have our third gen pseudo legendary powerhouse. We have Metagross, the steel psychic type, coming in at number 59. This thing is absolutely amazing. Steven doesn't make the best use of it in Ruby and Sapphire, I will admit, but this thing is absolutely amazing. I'm thinking about how hard it is to get. There's only one Beldum, I believe, in Ruby and Sapphire, maybe possibly Emerald as well. And this thing, or Beldum, and this thing has a catch rate akin to legendaries. This thing has a catch rate of 3. And Beldum does too. So if you want to catch this thing, say you're playing Pokemon Platinum, you want to catch this thing out in the wild, you're gonna have to sit there for a while with a lot of Ultra Balls and a lot of patience. But the patience is worth it. It does pay off in the end because Metagross is an incredible Pokemon. Entei comes in claiming his spot at number 58. He would be higher because I really do like Entei, but his moveset leaves a lot to be desired in some areas, but it does excel in other areas. Like, you can slap a Choice Band on this thing, and it's got Sacred Fire, it's got Flare Blitz, it's got Iron Head for those fairies, it's got Extreme Speed. It's very good for the most part, and then it has a couple of moves left out, like Earthquake, for example, that you think it would get, and you look at other Pokemon like, how are you shaking Earth, but Entei's not. But, like I said, it gets Sacred Fire, which is absolutely amazing. The base PP on that move isn't fantastic, but with that 50% burn chance, really nice. Extreme Speed, a really high base power, +2 priority move. Like I said, you make this thing adamant, you swipe on a Choice Band, and you're doing a lot of damage. Even though it's not stab, you can knock out some Pokemon pretty easily with Extreme Speed. Next up is the powerhouse that is Gyarados. Now, Gyarados was great by itself. It has Moxie and Intimidate, but now it gets Mega Evolutions. It gains a Dark typing, which is a really interesting choice by Game Freak, but I can really see how it benefits Gyarados. First off, you're taking off that Flying typing, which does leave it weak to Ground type moves, but you kind of have to predict on the turn of Mega Evolution, is he gonna Mega or not? It gives you an immunity to Psychic, which is nice. And it also removes that 4x weakness, that really glaring weakness that Gyarados has had to carry through it through all his generations, and just gives it that normal weakness to Electric. But Gyarados with Dragon Dance, Moxie, Intimidate, there's so many different ways you can play it, and of course, if we're not talking about competitive, we're talking about the main story. Gyarados is still an amazing Pokemon to use in every single Pokemon game. It's reliable, it's a good water type, and of course, you have the Red Gyarados. Who can forget about the Red Gyarados? Most people's introduction to shiny Pokemon right there. And it was a good one. That is a nice design. So Galio is up next, or Solgaleo, however you want to pronounce it. And as soon as I saw this thing, when Pokemon Sun and Moon was first announced, I knew that Sun was going to be my main copy, my main playthrough. Because honestly, just look at this thing. This thing looks so nice. I didn't know there was going to be a Steel Psychic type, though. No Fire typing for this guy, which is interesting, to say the least. But it kind of does make sense. If you really think about it, is the emissary of the sun. But we do have 2 Steel Psychic types on the list today, so there's a little fun fact for you. Also, a spoiler alert while we're talking about this. Spoiler alert for Pokemon Sun and Moon. You would skip on to the next Pokemon if you don't want to be spoiled for that if you haven't played through yet. This thing evolving from Nebby, that was a thing I wasn't expecting. That was a bit of a twist that kind of came out of nowhere. And I like it. I like it. I like that legendaries can have evolutions. I like how it pushed the story forward that this Pokemon you carried with you this whole time was actually going to be the Pokemon that came in and saved you right at the very end because it evolved into some huge, massive behemoth beast. Tapu Koko is next up, and one of the main reasons I love Tapu Koko is because you can use Z Mirror Move with it. And what Z Mirror Move does is it takes the last move that was used in the battle. So say someone uses Brick Break, so it takes that move, makes that into a Z move. So Tapu Koko uses Z Brick Break, which is the all-out pummeling, and then you get +2 attack after that, which is crazy good. Like, that's so good. And with the high speed that Tapu Koko has and the high attack, you couple that with Brave Bird and Wild Charge and some other move, I don't know. You got yourself a sweeper right there. I love using that tactic. There's a lot of other cool things you can do with Tapu Koko. It's a good Pokemon in general, but just using that one specific tactic right there, it made me love Tapu Koko. But like I said, it's a very good Pokemon in general. And in the story of Sun and Moon, it does contribute a bit, which is nice. But Tapu Koko is number 55. Hydreigon, the absolute monster from 5th gen, is next up on today's list. And you have to feel a little bit bad for it. It came out in 5th gen. It soared right to the top of the competitive meta game. It was having a good time. Then right in the next generation, Fairy type comes out and just poops all over it. 4 times weakness. Yeah, it's got that immunity to Dragon. Hydreigon didn't appreciate that, but it didn't care all that much though, did it? It has Flash Cannon. Like, what is a Fairy type to a Flash Cannon? And also, it didn't even drop that much. Like, it was in UU in 6th gen, I believe. Possibly OU. We'll have to see how it does in 7th gen with the huge changes to competitive as well. If we talk about just in the main game, though, I can't really say a whole lot about Hydreigon in the main game because it's a little bit difficult to get and I haven't used it all that much. And of course, it evolves at such a high level. By the time you even get a Hydreigon, you're done with the game. So that kind of holds it back a bit, but Hydreigon is still a Pokemon that I really, really love to use in competitive. And we'll see how it does in the new generation. We have Honchkrow here at number 53 now. No! He got crits! Honchkrow and I have a bit of a complicated history because it just seems like whenever I do a Nuzlocke and I see someone from the Murkrow line, whenever one pops up, it just kills up one of my Pokemon. And I really don't appreciate that. It feels like, you know, Honchkrow is the big boss of the mob and he's putting on hits on my Pokemon. I don't appreciate that, Honchkrow, but you're still an extremely good Pokemon to use. You're not that fast, which is kind of holding you back a bit, but it doesn't matter because when you use that Brave Bird, if you slap a Life Orb on you, when you use that Brave Bird, you're definitely knocking something out. And Honchkrow's design is absolutely fucking spot on. It's perfect. Like, I don't know what they could have done to improve it anymore. It's absolutely fantastic. Roserade is without a doubt one of the best grass types in the Pokemon series. You got access to all these entry hazards, you got your spikes, you can make it bulky, you can take some hits, you got pretty good special defense there. You also have very good special attack, so you can dish out those hits just as hard as you can take them. You can get Giga Drain, you can restore your health, and if you don't want to make it bulky, you can go full-on offensive, and it still works pretty well as well. I really liked using Roserade in the main series games, mostly Pokemon Platinum, Diamond and Pearl around there. When I wouldn't pick Torterra, I would usually pick up a Roserade as my resident grass type, because I like to fill out that elemental trio, that water, fire, grass, and usually if I didn't have my Torterra with me, I would take a Roserade, because it's very reliable, it gets so many good moves, and it's really, really powerful, along with being able to take those hits as well. Lugia is claiming the number 150 spot on today's list, the last one for today, and this is mainly based off nostalgia reasons, because the first time I ever played through Pokemon 2nd gen, the 2nd gen of Pokemon, was Pokemon Silver, and I remember picking up the game at the shop. It was so long ago, but I remember it clearly. I remember seeing it on the shelf, because I just played through Pokemon Blue and Yellow, and I was like, I didn't know there were more. So I picked it up, I took it home, and I played through Silver so many times. I tried to catch Lugia so many times, And honestly, it seems like most people played through Gold first. So if you played through Silver first, let me know in the comments section below. But Lugia is also one of the most bulky Pokemon in the Pokemon series. It has crazy stats in health, defense, and special defense, and also has access to multi-scale. You can use Calm Mind with it. It's so incredibly bulky, and you get Roost just to top it off, just to top off the salt. If you didn't get Toxic, you were hanging around for a long time. But that is the end of today's list. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please do destroy that like button, rib this video, and we'll be back for the next one. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I'll see you guys next time.